I'm Matt Elman, and you're listening to the Complete Confidence with Cambridge podcast. We've got lots of useful tips and tricks to help you plan your school year as you prepare your learners for their Cambridge English qualifications. Whether you've been teaching exam classes for years or just at the start of your teaching career, come along with us. We'll help you unpack the English language exam journey using our own real-life experience and easy-to-follow examples from the exam preparation course Complete. So, let's get started. Today's episode is brought to you by Olha Madylus. Olha has taught in the UK, Greece, Hong Kong and Venezuela. She's a freelance author, materials designer, consultant and teacher trainer, and her main focus is on understanding and motivating learners.
Hello and welcome to this podcast. Today I'm going to talk about a topic that not many people talk about actually, and that is getting the most out of homework. This is an interesting topic for me because, we spend a lot of time planning our lessons, but sometimes homework is just an add-on, something we think of very quickly at the end of the lesson, and students may be ill-prepared for it, or it doesn't really fit in to that step-by-step journey of helping students to prepare for exams. And I really do think that we can exploit it better by linking it to what we do in class. I wonder what you think about homework and how you prepare and plan for the homework part of your lessons. Well, the first thing I'm going to talk about is this idea of flipping the classroom. I don't know if you've come across this very strange term. What it means basically is that homework is put first. You think about the homework as a preparation for the next lesson, not as an add-on to the lesson that's just been. So let me give you an example. In Unit 3 of the course book, the topic is food. And imagine you're going to start this new unit on Monday. Rather than just giving students homework on the previous unit, why not say to students, okay, on Monday, we're going to start talking about food. I would like you, for homework, to be ready to talk about your favourite meals or your favourite dishes that maybe your family have together. And maybe you don't know all the words. Maybe you don't know all the different foods that you have at home. Do some research. Find out as much as possible. Use your dictionary. Do you know what grammar you're going to use for this? Now, this is a fantastic way of being ready for the next lesson. And it also gives some responsibility to the students because they are going to input their ideas. That's going to be the starting point for the lesson. And a little secret between us, don't tell anybody else, it actually means that we do less work because all these wonderful ideas come from the students. And I'm not saying that I'm lazy, but I do feel that sometimes we teachers do too much. So, students will be ready for the next lesson, and very often we can get them to review and recycle language, and that really helps them to remember it as well because they're doing that activity. Now, I think we all have the same problem as teachers, that there is so much to cover in any course we do, but particularly in exam courses. And so we have to use time very carefully. It's a resource that we mustn't run out of. So one thing that I feel is very important is we have to avoid having lots of silent activities in class because that time is so much better spent getting the students speaking, doing collaborative activities. So doing timed exam tasks in class, I think, is best done for homework. And you might find that a bit strange because you want students to be in a controlled situation. What I'm suggesting is that we get students into the habit of doing short, timed tasks at home. Now, talk to your students about this, explain why they're doing them at home, and really work on making them feel grown up and professional about it. So ask them to find somewhere quiet, use a timer or a clock so they can time themselves, and get them to really take that responsibility. Here we're building autonomy, and students like to be given that autonomy. Don't worry if they're not all going to do it. They need to build these habits. But what is important is that you talk about it afterwards and you ask them, did they have any problems? Was it easy? Did they run out of time? And get them to participate in that way. Ask them individually just to check up on them too. But I do think trusting students is very important, because only if we trust them will they actually take that responsibility. Because what we need to remember is at the end, when they take their exam, they are on their own. They will have to do it all on their own. The responsibility is on their shoulders. Another thing with homework that I feel very strongly about is that students do not all need to do the same thing. It's very difficult to differentiate in class. It's almost impossible for me. But I think when they do homework, this is the perfect opportunity for them to do different things. Think about your students. Think about a particular class, and you can think about the individuals. One student is actually really good at reading. Another student finds it really tricky to do listening and, needs much, much more practice. So why not get them to decide what to do for homework? They need more practice in certain areas. Now, this is not something I just say, go away and do this. I encourage them with my help, a lot of help initially, to identify what they need to work on and look at the kind of tasks they need to do. So we always have lots of extra tasks in the workbook. There's not time to do them all. So get them to decide. Don't panic. Because you ask, how am I going to mark this? How am I going to assess this? The important thing is, if they're going to be autonomous, let them do the marking and tell you how they did. I think sometimes we get a little bit too stressed out about having marks for everything. And I'm going to share with you my favourite Einstein quote. And he says, not everything that can be counted counts, and not everything that counts can be counted. So you may not have a grade or a mark for a piece of work, but what matters is those students are taking responsibility and thinking about what they know, what they have problems with, what they're good at. And this is what we call metacognition, being able to think about how you think and how you learn. Obviously, get them to share any problems they might have in this area. Get them to tell you, oh, miss, this is so difficult. Please help me. Can we do more of this in class? It's not just saying, go away, do this on your own. But it's a very, very useful use of homework because it's targeting the areas that they need help with. And what we need as teachers is just to be a bit more flexible, to relax a bit about this area. We feel, and be honest, you do too, that we have to control everything all the time. We can't. We have to, be a bit more flexible, let students take some control.
Let's recap.
So by flipping the classroom, by getting students to prepare in advance, by setting some of those silent tasks for homework, and by giving choices, what happens is we make the most of the time we have available, and we link what the students have done before with what's being done now and with what's going to be done. So the learning is a continuous journey. And we manage to address their individual needs. So I wonder if you do any of these things already. If you don't and you think they're a good idea, do think about this. And remember, if there's things you've missed on this podcast, you can always listen again.
That's it for today. Discover more episodes from this series on our website, cambridge.org/completeconfidence. We have podcast episodes for every level of the Cambridge exams. Come back and join us again soon. And don't worry, you've got this.
You've been listening to the Complete Confidence with Cambridge podcast, brought to you by Cambridge University Press and Assessment.